What's good, family? Hope all is well. This is Zachary King from the Future is Female podcast, and I am back with the beautiful Fee. Fee, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well.
So happy to see you, Fee. I haven't seen you in a while. This is the first time I've seen you since the last time we recorded.
It is.
So no. I seen you at the Eagles tailgating. It was a tailgating party you threw with your tailgating your wagon.
Yeah.
Is that how do you describe it?
It's a trailer.
The trailer.
Yes.
Okay. what exactly do you do with your trailer business? I mean,
the trailer business. Okay, so we'll talk about the trailer business. So it's called Luxury Locker Room. Mm-hmm. It's a trailer. I call it an all-exclusive experience. It's specifically for tailgating, but people have rented it out for all other type of events. But it has televisions on there. We have speakers. It has a full service bathroom. We have games, everything. We have a grill attached to it, everything that you would need to have a successful outdoor event.
Yes.
But we have, most of it is for tailgating. So the football season was like a huge thing. And people used the grill. Some people didn't use the grill. There's different packages or whatever. So that's pretty much what the tailgating trailer is.
That thing is so decent. Over the summertime, and I can't wait till we could get to it this summer. Over the summertime, we met at a park, and everyone came over there, and we was on karaoke. And it was just so decent. It got, like she said, it got the bathroom attached to it. To anyone that's looking for a different experience, it really do upgrade the whole barbecue experience, because it's nothing like being able to watch television and have something, for the kids. So you can have one, got the place where they can hook the game up, and so many different things you could do. So I would encourage anyone, if you're looking for something that is totally different, that's unique, that will up your outdoor experience, please give this lady a call. Please tell me a little about what else you got going on.
Ooh, some other things I have going on is real estate. I am a real estate investor.
Nice.
So that's pretty much what I have my hand in right now, being as though the sports season is kind of sleeping, we'll say right now. So that's where my focus is on my kids and on real estate. Right. Just rehabbing properties. And
is that here in Philadelphia?
Yeah, it's in Philly.
How was that process going? Is it hard to get real estate here in the city, or?
Well, I guess it depends on your financial situation. It depends on what exactly you want to do with real estate. I think there's just several avenues you just have to figure out, is this for you? Because real estate is not for everybody.
Right.
So for me, I would say the way I got the properties was fairly easy. Okay. But I don't think that I would say it's something that can be easy, because I know people that's in the process of buying houses and it's like a headache. They're ready to give up. Right. So I think it just depends on where you're at mentally to deal with it, to go through the process, to hold on to your funds for months without, spending. So I think it just depends on the person.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, but where I'm at right now with a rehab, it is a headache. It's a lot of work, but it's fun, and I just can't wait till it's finished.
Got you. So we're dealing with real estate, and we know that's a heavily male-dominated industry, right? No?
I mean, I think I've seen more women get into it.
Oh.
Where I wouldn't feel comfortable saying it's a male-dominated. I think we see a lot of males talk about it, but I think the women that I know that are in it are really in it. They're making money. They know what they're doing. Their moral compass is on 100. Ethically, they're at 100. So yeah, I think the women are killing it in real estate in all avenues, whether it's them investing, whether you're a real estate agent, whether you're a mortgage agent, women are really.
Oh, no. I would definitely agree. There are more women real estate agents on my timeline than ever before. There are more women out here, like you said, almost in every, and it's crazy because you're now starting to hear the conversation of women investors. Yeah. That was because being invested and stuff, that was a very, it was very kind of a closed lip. So like only a few people knew actually how to do it. Yeah. So that's good. That's amazing that you do that. Let me ask you, do you think that because as you climb and get further higher up the food chain, Do you feel like your looks or just any like women in general, but I'm speaking for you as well. Do you think that your looks help you with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
I think we all look at the physical at first. Like that's what makes us look at somebody and say, oh, okay. And then, once they start speaking, then that can either take you up or take you down.
Right.
So I think it's a hand-in-hand thing, but I would say definitely my looks have...
I appreciate you saying that because, as a man, it seems like whenever we point that out, it's like we're being sexist or we're being closed-minded or we diminishing your greatness. And it's like, no, she still got her greatness.
It is what it is, though. Especially if we're talking about being in industries that are more so male-dominated. Mm-hmm. The man is going to look to see, do I want to work with this person or do I just enjoy talking to them? Do I enjoy looking in her eyes? Certain little things I feel like helps you climb that ladder. Right. Whether the ladder goes to, oh, just take my number or, hey, let's have a meeting or over dinner, whatever the case is. So I think it just depends. It definitely looks do play a part, I think.
I totally agree. I think it's kind of like immature to not think it does, because I mean, again, everything looks at everything. Yeah. I'm pretty certain that there is a lot of people who are at the top who are completely undeserving, but because they had a good look to them, I mean, it is what it is. It's sad to say, and I know I might catch a little bit of heat for this one, but Hooters is now going out of business, right? Hooters. And what changed? They was running for 40 something years. Recently, they opened it up to less attractive women.
Oh,
they allow, and I mean, I'm saying less attractive women from, not from my own personal view. So please, ladies, don't kill me.
So whose view are you saying it from? Like the
okay. So masses? At one point, so a hard conversation, right? Okay. So at one point, Hooters was known for very petite girls with huge big breasts, and they walked around here in some skimpy attire, and they were selling wings. That was pretty much their thing. They prided themselves on having, the most, quote unquote society, beautiful women, and then now they allow more plus size women to become waitresses and stuff in there, and now they don't get the attention like they used to. Yeah, they're now closing their stores.
And it wasn't the wings. You don't think they changed the sauce?
The wing sauce stayed the same. The wings stayed the same. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of restaurants like that, like Twin Peaks and a couple other restaurants that do the same thing. It's the reason to why you go to a hotel and the first person you see is a beautiful woman or. When you go to a restaurant, you see, a nice looking person that takes your order because they know that when you was about to go in there and be cheap and be like, nah, let me just go get something to drink. You're like, no, let me get the bottle now because now this is your segue. So it's real. It's a real thing. I mean, looks definitely played a part. I can tell you as a man. I don't want to say, it's the reason why I stay behind the camera, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because you see me out, you be like, oh. But no, I'm playing. But I'm not a bad looking guy, and I know that by me walking up to a woman and not being a bad looking guy and having a little bit going for myself have definitely helped when it comes to getting the attention of women. So yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about some of the bad sides of that, though. Let's talk about how being a beautiful woman, like just because you are a beautiful woman, do you find that people don't take you as serious? Like, she just got here because she looks good. No,
because I don't carry myself in that way. I feel like you can only say that about somebody if you know that they absolutely cannot do the job. So if I came in and I'm all of a sudden in this role and I have no idea how to play the role. I don't know what I'm doing and it's apparent that I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
Then I feel like then you can, you have room to say, oh, who did you sleep with? Or, oh, who do you know?
But they don't know that until off of first glance. I mean, that's only until a course of time where they see your work. But first glance, they are thinking, look at her. We got another one. He's always just hire a pretty face.
I mean, I can't control that.
Okay.
You know, I can't control somebody just assuming, oh, he can't hire, or he always hires a pretty face.
Right.
But by that second week, they're going to be like, oh, I know why he hired you.
Okay.
You know, so I don't think that I've ever experienced more of a negative connotation to being hired per se, or given a job or opportunity because of my looks. One, I think looks are subjective. Like somebody can say, oh, Fee's not my type. Like she doesn't, I prefer this, over that. So I don't know. I don't know. I guess fortunately I never experienced somebody not giving me a job or giving me a job strictly because of my looks. Okay. Now, like I said, it probably helped in some aspects, and not even just with a job, with anything. Getting in a club, I've been to places where it's like, how many are y'all? Like, is it 2 or 3? Right. All right, y'all can come in. Set up over here. Like, I'll make sure you're good. Versus some other people, they're like looking past them. Right. So, but I think it's more than looks, though, in a sense. I mean, do you want just the looks or the whole woman? So I mean, in
a lot of cases, the looks is just enough, because it's like I don't care about the woman as an individual. Yeah, it's like I don't care about her as an individual. Wow, the looks are just enough. I mean, and it's all about, like you said, you mentioned the club. I don't care about how your personality, how bubbly your personality is. Do you make my club look good? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you make my club look good, I'm going to tell you, just sit down, be quiet over there, because you're going to bring more men. This is
who's going to spend the money, because men are the ones that's going to spend the money in the club.
So absolutely. But you brought up a good point when you talked about how people see your greatness no matter what. Mm-hmm. And, we're referencing that to men, right? Well, one thing, do women see looks, or are women actually intimidated by other women for looks,
I think yes and no. I think you have some women who are intimidated by a pretty face. And you have some women who embrace it. Right. But I think it comes down to that woman. Is she 100 with her own self-esteem? Okay. Because if you are, then you don't care what the next person looks like. Y'all gonna have a great time regardless. The next person could be 50% versus you're 100% in looks, and you're still gonna have a good time. So I think it really comes down to how comfortable you are with yourself to make that a thing. Like, oh, I'm not gonna hang with you because you're not. But
I have seen it though. Oh, I've seen it. I have seen where a woman refuse to invite a certain woman out because they feel like she gets too much attention. Oh, I have seen that. I have seen that for sure.
Too much attention.
Yes, where they know that if, like, let's say 2 girls go out and one girl's really pretty, or one girl got a big butt, and they know that when they go out, that one girl's going to get complimented 100 times versus their 5. They're not going to go out with her much. I have seen that before. I have seen women be really cruel to each other.
Yeah,
and it haven't been nothing other than just the surface. I have seen that. I've seen
mean girl activity as well. Like, I've seen it, but I don't like bullies. I don't like mean girls. So
I get away from it. And you know this in my women's group, I'll be like, I don't do the mean girl thing. Yeah. We have, like, it's really I try to get a kumbaya situation as much as possible, because I don't like that. Because, I mean, it bothers me that so many times, like, for me as a man, the only time I see women really coming together and helping each other is when it comes to taking down a man. It's like, if they don't like a man, they will 1, 2, 3 hate him, but when it comes to a woman supporting another woman's business, or really out there, like, sticking her neck out to make sure another woman gets an opportunity, I feel like that fall far in between.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Okay. To an extent, I can agree with that. Right. I've seen it a lot where some is like, why you just can't post it for me? Because you know how they say posts are free. So it's like, okay, now if you don't want to post it, now I have to ask you, if you're supposed to be my friend, now I'm going to ask you, do you not believe in my business venture? What's your reason for not posting it? I understand people have this thing with, oh, it doesn't match my aesthetic. Who cares about your aesthetic?
Right.
Like, because even if it's, you post so many different things that don't match your aesthetic to your stories.
Right.
You can post and delete, like,
yes.
but post it.
It's free. It's the bare minimum.
It's the very bare minimum.
I feel like that. I feel like post is the bare minimum. If you see your folks out, because I feel like that's just another form of hating.
Yeah, well,
like if you see me out here and I'm grinding, no, because I feel like how can you see me out here doing something, and then, especially if you were the type that wanted it done for you, like if you was the type that seen, like when I post, I want you to post my stuff 100 times, and then when it comes to one time where I get to post you, it don't match my aesthetic.
Right.
You are a hater. Like that is,
or you just don't even
post
it. You don't even acknowledge it,
right.
and that's my thing. So for my tailgating business, I looked at it like, okay, why everybody on my friends list, I'm for the most part 75% I know you. Personally, to some extent, whether it's been high and by at some point, whatever the case is, I've met you before.
Right.
So if I'm posting my tailgating page and saying, hey, repost, can you repost, can you repost?
Right.
And 5 out of 1,500 people repost, now I'm thinking like, well, why not? Why are you not repost? Like, what's the problem here?
Right.
And that's what starts making me think like, okay, do you not believe in my business?
Right.
Because what would be the reason that you don't post this for free for 24 hours?
Right. No, I agree. And I feel like, excuse me, I feel like that is the difference between, I gotta say, other communities versus our own. I feel like they get that on a small level, they will repost. They will give a person a reference, even if it's not, beneficial to them at that particular moment. They will go out here and do that. Whereas when it comes to us, I have seen it when I was in prison, and I have seen it another way, but it just really was like, it didn't click until I got into prison. But when I was in a prison, when the Spanish dudes would come in, the Spanish guys would drop everything, make sure they was good. The Italian guys, make sure that they was good. It was like, bro, what you need?
Right.
You need to get on the phone.
Community. Right.
You need to get on, you need to go get this, you need to get that. When we get in a community, nothing. It was just like, yo, where you from? You know what I'm saying? It was just, that was it.
Right.
And I mean, I remember this one, shout out to my man Q. Q looks Spanish. Like the brother, he just got like the real thin hair. He had in a bun. He looked real Spanish. And the Spanish dudes made sure he was good because they thought he was Spanish. It wasn't until they found out that he wasn't and he didn't speak no Spanish. He was a regular black dude. They took everything back. They took it back. It was like, no, and you on your own now. You know what I'm saying? But that's how serious it is. So in my community, though, that's what we try to do. I try to be the change I want to see. When I see people's stuff, I try to post it, try to put it out there. I feel like almost a lot of times, if I'm being quite honest, I feel like I be begging people. I feel like, why I gotta beg people to work? And that's what I'm saying. And that's what makes I'm this close to asking, why? What's your why?
Right. Because now I want to know why you don't post it. Because you post so much other BS all day, every day. Right. And when I'm asking you to repost something that will not affect you in any type of way, you can't just say, hey, y'all, go follow this page. You don't even have to sell this for me. Just say, hey, y'all, go follow this page. Right. So what is the problem? There's a lot of stuff that we do have to address when it comes to black businesses. I'm not sure if you noticed or not, but the girl, Slutty Vegan, you ever heard of that? I've heard of it, yep. Slutty Vegan, she's in Atlanta. I think she was in Vegas, but she was in Atlanta. I think maybe off of, I forgot what campus. But Slutty Vegan, they petitioned to get her business removed from campus, right? And it's like at Spelman or something like that. Like it's out of college, like where you would think this would be this. It was they petitioned it because they said that the options was limited, the customer service was poor, and it was too expensive. I think this is a real conversation that black businesses owners need to have, because I feel like we don't do right by our customers a lot. Like I feel like in my humble opinion, I feel like we either price gouge you or the service be trash. Like we do not take care of our customers, and God forbid you ever need to make a return. Like, oh my God. The struggles, the struggles you get
It's almost like you could be on video with your ID in one hand, your social security in the other hand. It says your name.
Right.
They will act like you never came in there before. Like it will be like you be like, I just want to return.
Right.
And then they'll hit you with, you don't say nothing about Walmart and Target and no. It's like, yeah,
they
we
take
do.
returns though.
Yeah, they do.
And their prices are affordable.
They got 100 products compared to your 3.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, are you serious? So I do think that. What are some of the struggles that you have with involving like with black business and stuff like that? Do you have them same struggles or?
I think my only, I'm not going to say struggle, but my only complaint per se is they're never open. A lot of these businesses are never open.
That
and
is
it's like,
fact.
why are you not open today? Like, I need you today.
Right.
And I won't order from you, or I can't order from you because you're not open. So now I have to go to Amazon. Like, now I have to, you know, or even with just purchasing something, why do I have to wait 2 weeks to get my order?
To get your stuff.
So when for me, it's convenience.
Right.
It's not about, oh, I'm going to support your business. I want to support your business, but I also need you to think about, oh, how can I convenience my customers? Like, what will help them? What do they want? And we want things fast.
No, that makes sense. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
So I think that's the only thing. I'm trying to think. I don't really.
Okay. No, I mean, I get it. You know, who is easier for you to work with? Is it men or women?
Ooh.
Go ahead, be honest.
I don't know. I think it depends on what it is I'm doing.
Okay.
I think it just really depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing something more on the admin side of things, because I also do like produce and direct for TV and film.
Okay.
Women, when it comes to running the show, I work well with women because I think we're always on the same page and we know what's needed to make this run smoothly.
Right.
When it comes to, I need something done and I need it done quick, sometimes it's the man.
Okay.
Because most times in that industry, the man holds the most power.
Okay, so it's not like it's a tug of war.
No.
It's just simply that it's a power thing. Men got greater access.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes, yeah. Because a lot of times the men hold the money. So.
Right. So you go where the money is.
I go where the money is.
Show me the money.
Depending on what I need. But like I said, if it comes to running the show, look, we got to do this. This needs to be at this time. We need to get talent here for this, and this. Then I know, let me go to my sister. Like, she going to make sure this is right.
She going to make sure it's done. Right.
But anything else, women are logistics. Men are just... Hands on deck. What you need, how much you need, when you need it.
Right. That is pretty much how much you need, what you need, when I gotta have it done by.
That's it. Right. Women, details. So it's just knowing what's happening and what you need, which sex for.
Got you. Do you find that who you feel is most forgiven in a situation? Is it men or is it women? Like, do you feel like more women will hold a grudge if you drop the ball, or do you feel like more men will? Like, do you feel like more men will lose faith if something is not done right, or you feel like more women?
I think it depends on what it is, but for the most part, I think men are just a little bit more easygoing.
Okay.
Women, we might hold a grudge for at least like a couple of days and just sometimes say, remember when?
So, okay.
Where guys, I think, depending on what it is, if it's not important to them, it's like...
I feel, in this platform, I feel like it's sometimes hard to talk to women. You know,
harder to talk
it's
to
hard
women?
to talk to women, especially about like real sticky, nasty topics.
Like
I feel
what?
like women they're more likely to get offended. I feel like women are more likely to get offended, or because I know it's like, see, right now we could have this conversation because there's no emotion. But if I was to say something like, you shouldn't date a single mom, right? There's a women who would turn that and be like, they won't listen to anything. They'll just hear that. And it would turn to straight hate, and they won't listen to another person's perspective or anything like that. It would just turn into, it goes from, and I'm just telling you from my experiences, from being in this platform, from being in this seat, is really sometimes really challenging to talk to women.
Really?
Really? Oh
I
my
would
God.
not have thought that.
Oh my
I
God.
feel like
It is
women
not.
are very open-minded.
No, I tell you, if you're not tickling their ear, seriously, again, if you're not tickling their ear, you could really lose a woman, and because it's a lot of women, it's about the delivery about it. So if you could say it like a man, I could, hey man, this or this and this. A woman, you gotta be a little careful. Your tone and your voice gotta be very soothing. And then they just don't want to hear it. A lot of women just don't want to hear anything other than their opinion. So it can be rough. It can be. Yeah. It can be, because I feel like it takes away from honest dialogue between us. I feel like you can't have a community without having communication.
Right.
And I feel like this is the reason why our groups are like, not just because of women. I'm just saying in general, we don't talk to one another. We talk at each other. The purpose of you being there and me being off camera is because the focus is you. We're talking about you and your perspective. I give pushback and I'll give another opinion, but it's for you to highlight your perspective and what's going on. Versus if you watch some of the other podcasts, it's nothing but two people bickering back and forth. It's like, can you even turn the camera on? They fighting before the camera. The director ain't even said action yet. They over here fighting and solid being thrown back and forth. I mean, it's like for us to actually have that honest conversation.
Okay.
Do you believe in power couples?
Power couples? Yeah,
like, do you believe in the mindset of, like, when it comes to, like, dating, like, do you date? Would you date a man that is, like, he does real estate, you do real estate, and you got to come together? Or is it best, or he got a trailer, you got a trailer? Like, do you believe in that kind of stuff? Or you be like, no, we keep this stuff separate?
No, I don't think I ever really thought about it like that. Okay. If he's into real estate, I don't think. Thank you, because now I can pick your brain.
Right.
Now we can help each other. Now we can make money together. If you're into real estate and I'm into real estate, it's just something that we're both interested in. We both can talk about. I never thought about it like that though. Like power couple, when somebody says power couple, from the surface level, I immediately think about like Sierra and Russell Wilson.
Okay.
And that's only because, obviously, only what we see, because I don't know them. Right. But they both seem to, or they both have said that, God is the center of both their lives. Like, they both came in with that. Like, one of her non-negotiables was that, and the same for him. They value family. They both value their careers. Like certain things, I consider that as a power couple, because it looks as if they support each other 100% in whatever it is that they're doing. Okay. Like I said, obviously a surface, because we don't know. Right,
we don't know behind closed doors. Right.
What we see is like they are the ideal couple. I don't know how powerful they are, but they're the ideal couple, and they're in a similar industry, I guess, in the sense of being celebrity.
Yeah, celebrity, right.
So they have, like, I would say it's a fast-paced life, but she comes off as she might be the balance with the family. While he's out doing this, she has her career, but she also has room to just be the wife and be the mom.
So here come a little bit of pushback, right? Because I gotta hold you. I'm gonna hold you down, fellas. No, I'm playing. The pushback is that they feel as though, because a lot of men look at Russell Wilson as a sucker. They look at him as like a simp, a simp. And they said the only reason why that she would give him the opportunity is because she got ran through by so many other alpha men.
That sounds like a hater. That sounds like hating men. Because how are you going to say what he is just based off of him being a gentleman to his woman? So now he's a simp. Because what else are you gathering that he's a cornball or whatever the term was?
No.
How else are y'all gathering that?
Well, I think the thinking is not that it's not that him being a gentleman is bad. Like it's celebrated that he treats his woman the way he treats her, right? Okay. I think we agree on that. I think the problem that a lot of men,
who ran through her, because all we know is Bow Wow And Future.
50 and a couple.
Oh,
I'm
and
not
50.
I'm not a huge celebrity follower. Like I'm not. I'll look at a celebrity as a metaphor, like to what's going on, but I don't look at them like to follow their life. Like I don't be like, oh my God, I gotta see if Kim Kardashian doing something, I gotta do it, or whoever.
Oh, right.
But I might look at it and be like, see, this is why you don't wife for a woman in that type of circumstance.
Yeah.
Look at his ass, So I might be on that type of thing. But when it comes to Russell Wilson, I think the thinking is, it's great that he wanted to be this to a woman and be that gentleman to a woman, but we know why her. But also, if things were slightly different, she would not have chose you.
Who knows that?
Well, because Tom has chose that. Tom has chose. She didn't choose, and I'm playing devil's advocate. But she never chose anyone sort of even liked him remotely when she was in a better position. There was never another man. Like, you could look at it and be like, okay, she got a thing for athletes. She dates several athletes. She dated several musicians. She dated several ball players. She dated several men, and they kind of all fit that aesthetic. Like, oftentimes when I meet a woman and they talk to me about relationships and the kind of man they want, the first thing I'm looking at is their cat facts. I'm trying to see the men that was in her past.
I don't agree with that.
So if a man told you,
I don't agree with that because somebody could say that about me. Oh, you only date certain type of men. Okay. Right? At some point, something clicked in my head. Like, I don't even care about this no more. Like, what is it that I really want?
And I appreciate the growth. I appreciate the growth.
Because I went from a nice, tailored looking guy, like, size wise was cool. What a lot of people probably would want to be like.
What you mean? Like he was over 6 foot? Okay.
Or fit, just,
athletic build. Okay, gotcha.
And one day I woke up and I was dating a guy the size of a whale.
Okay. Okay. All right. A lamb whale. It was a lamb whale.
Listen, a whale.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Did he treat you well?
In the beginning, yes.
Okay.
But I think what made me even give him the time of day was, one, the place I was mentally.
Right.
It was like, you know what? I just want to be happy. Like, so the charm is what really got him in the door.
Right.
But aside from that, if I would have seen him any other time, it'd have been like, hell no. Okay. Like, this is not even.
And I respect that. Listen, I put it as on this platform. I'm attracted to black women. Like, I'm attracted to black women.
And he was a black whale.
A black whale.
I'm dead serious. Like, even to this day, people that know be like, "How? What made you?"
But no, I mean, it's cool. But I was making a point, like, in the term of saying, like, if. Like, let's say I remember hearing something on the Balloon Pop show just recently, and I know, because the Balloon Pop show, I like it. I love the concept, and I feel like it's kind of indicative of like the apps, like where it's one person and you see so many options, and because you see so many options, you think you got a lot more options than you really do, but because I think that's the reason why. That's why when I tell women, especially when I tell women, get off of dating apps. Like, dating apps don't work, because what happened is it takes away that human feel for it, and you begin to become cold and callous. Like, let's just say hypothetically, you show you on a dating app and you see I want somebody that's over 6 foot. They'll show you all the people that's over 6 foot, and it'll distort your perception, because in real life you don't see that. You see what I'm saying? In real life you don't see that. You'll run across a brother. So what happened is, in real life, you might have run across a brother that's 5'7", but he was charming. You see what I'm saying? But you're going to dismiss that brother now because you're like, I have so many options here. You see what I'm saying? And then you get to them options, you realize they're no good either. You know what I'm saying? So it messes that up. There's been times where if I was to say, oh, I want a tall chocolate woman, this and this and that right here, that's my ideal. And then when I see that, it's like confirmation bias. But then when I see a beautiful woman walking in the store and she could be light and short, and I'm like, nah, she's bad too. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say I think them dating apps are no good, because it just mess up. So when you got the Balloon Pop show, you got one person, 20 options. It's really hard for you to see one thing and kind of stick to it, because you're like, no, I want to go here. I want to see what that person about. And especially if you like, I'm just saying, for me, one of the reasons why I'm strong at this position is because when I'm seeing you, it's like a new world, and I just want to explore that world. It's just like, even if I agree with you, I just want to hear what got you to that point. I just want to hear your world and hear what's going on in the world. So it becomes kind of hard because in real life, you're like, no, this is, I'm not saying, I hate to use the word settling, but you see something that fit, you gotta be comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't want to use the word settle because settle got such a negative.
Settle or settle?
Settle, like to settle with someone. I don't want to say
settling.
you settling, like settling. I don't want to say like I got to you, now I'm settling. I don't want to be that way. But it gets to a point where you got to be like, I'm happy with what I got.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this, I got to be cool with where I'm at right now.
Right.
And I think people, when you got so many options, it become hard because that's why you see so many fish getting thrown back in the water. Hell, they not even throwing the fish in the water. They throwing the whole boat. They got the whole boat going back. The whole boat going back. I'm setting fire to this thing. And in real life, it's not like that.
Right.
In real life, you might only come across, we kind of understand that for men. Men kind of understand you're only going to get a few good women in your life. You're not going to be showered with good women in your life. I don't know if that message is explained to women as well.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That message is like, I could go to the men's store and I could pick me up. Man, I could get the man I want. And it's like, it's really not that hard. I mean, it's really not that easy. You know what I'm saying? That man is in the small percentile. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of men that got all their checks and balances. And even if you find one, it's like, you better be happy.
Right.
Because, you know what I'm saying?
And he probably already has somebody.
Right. We all got to pass. So I think when it came to Russell Wilson, I think the problem was just that people would just looked at her and was like, if she was as fine as she once was, and she's still bad.
Right.
I don't get it.
So
She's
I don't
still
understand
bad.
where this is coming from.
I think that this is...
Because nobody ever said anything bad about her. None of the exes, not even 50. So it's like, what are we talking about here?
No, I just think like it's indicative because a lot of, especially with now, men are now really pushing back, especially when it comes to like being stepfathers and stuff. They're really pushing back too for that too. Because it's not really, I'm not going to say it's not in a man's best interest to become a stepfather. But in a lot of cases, it don't work out for the man. I think being a stepfather, I had a stepfather, and I was a stepfather as well. So I'm a little bit more on the side of like, man, brother, if you love her, you love the kids, go for it. You know what I'm saying? And then in my circumstances, their real father was there 100%. I was a follow-up. Like, if you dropped the ball, then I'm there. But he didn't drop the ball. He was there. So my resources wasn't being distracted. My time wasn't. I was appreciative because he made sure, like he kind of understand that too. Like, well, man, the brother is here to step up. We're going to celebrate him too. So we had a good relationship. But if it was in a situation to where you're dealing with a circumstance where you coming into a circumstance and now my resources are being taken, you know what I'm saying, being taken away and so forth, or you go through, you ain't my dad, that's heavy on a man. So I think more men are now having a platform to be able to speak their truth, because at one side you only heard one person's perspective. What's your thoughts?
I think that if we're talking about Russell being a stepfather, I think it takes a lot emotionally for him to make that decision of this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to execute this. One, I also think that age matters. So her son was fairly young when they got together. So I think that plays a part in it versus him being older, like 15, and now, you're trying to say, I'm your stepfather. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really get into that. But with dating, what I do find myself saying or asking, if I'm dating somebody with a child, fairly younger child, I'm always wondering, like, what role do you want me to play in your child's life? If we're going to move forward or begin building something, if we're really going to take this serious, because everybody don't need another mom for their kid. The mother is doing A-okay with their child.
Right.
So somebody might say, hey, I just want you to be somebody another woman that she could possibly come to if she ever needs something, but I don't need another mom. And you have some men that's like, no, I need a mom for my child. Like, my baby mama is crazy. She doesn't teach my child anything. She's not there emotionally. So those are questions that I ask. Like, what role do you want me to play in your child's life?
I think that's kind of unfair to put that. I think that's kind of unfair to put that on someone. Like,
to put what on someone?
To expect for someone to come in and be someone's mother. You know, like, I think that would be, that's totally unfair. Because, I mean, you be like, I'm trying to date and get to know you.
Right.
For you to feel like I just met you and I now must play a motherly role to your child, or a fatherly role for that matter as well.
I don't know, but I think that's a question that has to be asked, like what role, and be honest, because you might see something in me that's like, you know what, I want you to be a role model for my daughter, or even for my son. Like, I want him to see what a woman is or what a woman displays. You know, you're the type of woman that I want my children to be around.
Right.
You don't have to say, I want you to be a mom, but you could say, I want them to learn things. Okay. You know, you have certain characteristics that I want them to be exposed to, right? And then you go from there. Because there's some, you know, ages I might be like, I don't really want to.
So what's the too young age for you?
Ooh.
Like,
well,
2, 3, 4, 5.
My children are older.
Okay.
So I think that's where the question came from, me asking what role. Because if you want me to be like hands-on, I don't know if I'm the right person for you.
So you ain't going back to changing diapers and all that?
I don't think unless it's coming out of me. Like, unless the baby is mine, that's a huge jump. Because I done raised kids. I'm still raising a child. And you want me to like start all the way over?
Yeah, I feel that. No, I get it.
You know, I'm really like living my life right now. So,
I mean, I get it. I mean, you know,
that's a hard ask.
Yeah,
and what am I getting in return? That's when those questions come. Like, what am I benefiting from?
Let me ask this question right here. Would a man be wrong for asking a woman, you know, what do I get out of this? Or what do I get out of being a stepfather to your children? Would a man be wrong for asking that question?
Well, how would the question come up?
If he says, hey, you know, you have kids. I know you have kids.
How far are we in a relationship?
Okay. But what about just in the dating section? Like, I'm just trying to ask. Like,
I mean, I think that's a deep question for like a third date. What is it? How do you...
The question was, what benefit basically would I receive from being a stepfather? Would a man be wrong for putting it out there, like to say, hey, you know, I'm not saying it's off the table. I just want to know what benefit would I get from being listen, the man is saying, I'm not saying that it's off the table. I just want to know what benefit would I get for being a stepfather. Would a man be wrong for asking a woman that?
I think it's a loaded question, because why are you asking me that? I feel like as a man, you should know if you're coming into a relationship where there's children involved, I don't think that's an appropriate question to ask in terms of what's the benefit that I get for being a stepfather to your children. Like, that doesn't even sound right to me.
No?
Because I'm going to look at you like you're crazy.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you know that I have children, you should already start programming your mind to think, okay, I'm going to be around her children. Okay. My question is, why should I want you around? What benefits do we get from having you around? So that's what I would need to know. Like, what are my children going to see in you? What are my children going to learn from you? Okay. Those are the questions. So if you're saying what benefit do you have from being a stepfather to my children, I'm gonna ask you, why are you even asking that question? Okay. What are you expecting? What benefits have you seen or heard any other man get from being a stepfather?
I mean, I would assume that there's benefits to being a stepfather. I would assume. I mean, you know, if you was in a position where maybe you didn't have children of your own and this was the best alternative, you know, maybe that would be a benefit. Yeah,
but you wouldn't ask the question with in mind.
I think we are in a society where the question is always, what's in it for me?
Right.
And but I don't think that's I think like that's like us. That's like saying the question of what do you? I think that's like the question of what do you bring to the table. I think a lot of people are offended by these types of questions, but I think that's it's answers, it's questions that need to be answered. When a person asks you, what do you bring to the table? I think a fully functional adult should be able to answer that question without becoming defensive. I think it's just because again, we are all at a space like how we started the conversation when we talked about looks. You know, pretty women are everywhere. Yeah. You know, pretty men, there are handsome men, there are pretty women. You know, I think people are like, I need more these days. Like, I just can't depend off. I think at one point in time, whether we want to admit to it or not, being pretty was just enough. It was. In the 90s, yeah. In the 90s. It was both men who were just pretty, that was good for nothing, and they was good for nothing, but they was very handsome brothers, and they got it all. And it was women who was just pretty, and they got it all. Now, you got to bring something to the table. You got to, your fine ass got to have something. I don't think it's like that no more. Would you disagree?
The table talk is crazy to me, to be honest, because if you ask me, what do I bring to the table? I'm going to ask you, well, what do you need me to bring? Because now I need to know what you're looking for from me. Because I was raised by my father. I lived with my dad. He raised me and my sister since 10 or something like that.
Okay, so he's a stepfather.
What?
No, you said...
No, my father.
Oh,
my biological father.
My
biological father raised me.
I thought you said since 9 to 10.
So him and my mother divorced.
Oh, see, that's what I'm saying.
They got divorced, and my dad had custody of me and my sister.
Oh, so that's what... See? Yeah, I didn't mean it. I wasn't trying to be offended. I was just saying...
I didn't know what you meant. I didn't know what you were
I thought you meant... When you said since 9 to 10, I'm like, oh, so he... You know,
no.
Cool. So since 9 to 10, your pop had full custody of you and your sister.
Yes.
Got it.
And when I say custody, he was going up and down the blocks trying to figure out who could do our hair. Like, knocking on the women's doors. Can you braid their hair? Can you do it? This kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to go back to where my thought process was. So the table, he provided everything. Even I remember when my parents were together, my dad provided everything.
Okay.
I never seen or heard an argument about why I got to pay for this, why I have to do that. What are you doing with your money? Like, none of that. So I do believe that the way you were raised has an impact on how you view relationships. So with saying that the table talk is kind of like, all right, I get it to an extent, but do you really need to ask me, what do I bring to the table? Like, I need to know what.
It may not always be financial though. Like, it may not be when he asks you that question, it may not just be financial.
Exactly.
He may just want to see how supportive of a woman you are.
Exactly.
How understand it. It's a lot of women who want men to work and bust their ass and do what they gotta do, but when it comes to that man spending time away from them home, they're really not that understanding. That's an opportunity for you to have that conversation where you say, hey, I bring patience to the table.
I think that there needs to be a different type of question, because I think for women, we could get offended because we'll automatically think you're talking about financially. Like, what do you bring to the table? So that's why I'm like, well, what do you need me to bring to the table? Because then I could tell you if I don't even need to be at your table, because you might ask for something. I think
that's a real conversation, though. I think that is a conversation.
So
when coming together, you don't, when you and I guess and that's the thing too, because like that kind of goes into the 50-50 conversation about should a woman be paying 50-50. I'm in the middle with that on both sides. On one hand, I feel like it is very manly. The man thing to do is to take care of your family fully financially. I think that's, before my pop passed, my mother was a stay-at-home mom. So I have seen it, you know what I'm saying? I also have seen that when his presence was no longer there, where it put our family. So I seen that.
Okay.
But I also understand, like you said, they was together forever. The situations, the circumstances was different. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't go through a circumstance where they was paying for double the cost in mortgage. They didn't have the circumstance where insurance prices are through the roof. They didn't have the thing where we got an idiot in office putting terrorists and making everything go up. They didn't go through $8 eggs. They didn't have them things.
Right.
So for someone to see a person go through that and feel like, well, I'm just because of my gender, that allows for me to be sitting in a place of privilege, I do think that's wrong.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Well, for one, I don't agree with 50-50. I would never agree with 50-50. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay.
But I do believe that a woman should be able to step in when needed. So say the man is working, or they're both working, or whatever the case is, whatever they decide to do within their relationship, right? They might have a conversation like, look, I'm going to pay the mortgage, or we both going to go half on the mortgage, but everything else, I'm just, I'm going to handle it.
Right.
Like, so whatever y'all come up with is whatever you come up with.
And that's what I think is. I think that's what it is. I do think that you must have a financial dog in a fight.
Oh, for sure.
I think if you do not have a financial dog in a fight, you are more likely to leave and take when you get to a certain level. If you say, I'm going to try to save 100,000. Once you get your 100,000, you boogieing.
Yeah.
He going to be like, oh my God, I don't like the way he blinks at me. And you're going to roll, you know what I'm saying? Seriously.
Yeah, because I also think that men specifically need to be careful with this whole 50-50 talk, because I do think that women, we just look at a man differently if you can't.
Right.
So it's as if I'm sitting here, like I'm home on the couch and you coming in from work and you're looking around like, I don't smell no food, or what you cooking for dinner? And she's like, I'm not cooking nothing. But we could be thinking, we work too.
Right.
I'm not cooking because I'm paying half these bills too.
Right.
So why you not cooking?
Okay.
Like, I feel like it just leaves room for cattiness. And I just think, how do you lead if you not leading with these bills? I'm dead serious.
You can't leave unless you leave with these bills.
Because if you're not paying, it's kind of like you're giving.
So my love and support that I receive from you is dependent upon how much I can provide for you. Do that even sound fair?
What do you mean? Say that again.
So you just said that how the person lead, like you can't even lead properly if you can't pay these bills. So my love and support, or the love and support you have for me, is indicative about how much I'm able to provide for you.
I don't
so
think
when
it
I
has
stop providing for you.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with love. Money, financial, I don't think love should even be connected with that. That's part of the bills. But this is what I'm trying to say. If you are making your woman work, or if she feels like I have to work, I have to do overtime, I have to get a second job just to go 50-50 with you on these bills.
Adjust your mic up a little bit. Yeah.
To go 50-50 on these bills, I think the man then has to accept the fact that, okay, the respect might go down a little bit. It might it might not be intentional, but it'll be something like, now I could talk to you a certain type of way because I could do this on my own. And who's really, what are we doing?
I pray as a man, I don't meet that kind of woman. I'm serious, man, because life happens.
It comes off
life happens. Life happens. Because if a woman was in a situation to where she couldn't produce children, I don't think that she's any less of a woman than a woman who could. That's
not the same, though. You can't put that on the same. Because there's plenty of ways. I can't produce. There's plenty.
But being a woman, part of being a woman is the ability to produce children, right?
Okay.
So if you lost that ability to produce children, you're no less of a woman. You just don't have that ability.
Okay.
So part of being a man is his ability to provide and protect. If he was in a position where he couldn't necessarily provide or protect for, let's just say if he did his best to protect, but in his best to protect, he got his ass kicked. He's not less of a man. He just got his ass kicked. He's not. He tried. He went out there, he tried, he just didn't succeed. But he's not less than a man.
Okay. But we're talking about providing. So what would prevent a man from being able to provide?
There's a lot. Listen, back in the day when your pop, was with your mom and growing up, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, a man with little to no education, matter of fact, no education, a college dropout, high school dropout, was able to get a job at a warehouse, and he was able to support a family of 4 in the suburb. What do you know now working at Amazon that could do that off of his just check? What do you know working at Amazon that could support a family of 4 with just his money alone? It's not that the intentions are not there. It's just that the circumstances have changed. The circumstances have changed. You got daycare costs, $2,000-$3,000 a daycare.
Okay.
You got mortgage, $25,000. In Philadelphia, the average rent here is what, $16,000, $17,000? We're row homes. These homes was $400, $500 a few years ago. You could literally find a home in Mount Airy right now for $500,000 in Mount Airy. Yeah. I mean, you're like, what? They was giving these homes away a few years ago.
Right. And
some of the homes out here in North, they was dollar homes.
So let me ask you this. So what advice would you tell your son, your nephew?
My daughter. I got a daughter. She's 14.
But I'm talking about if you had a son.
Okay.
Being a man.
Okay.
If you had a son or a nephew or whoever, and they were dating someone and they were not able to provide. They were not able to assist even 50-50. Like say they had a job that wasn't really paying a whole lot. What would you say to them? Would you say you don't need to be in a relationship? Would you say, yo, you need to go get another job? Like what would you say to him if he's in this relationship where he loves this girl, As
hard as it is, if you can't afford them, don't fuck them. If you're not in a position, it costs to be the boss. It really do. And that was advice that my mother gave me. And my mother, she's not a cursor. She's not a loud, well, she's a fusser, but she's not a loud person. But she told me straight up, if you can't afford them, don't fuck them. It costs a lot. It costs to be the boss.
Okay, so with that philosophy, why is it such a problem with this whole being 50-50?
No. I'm on the side. Like I said, I believe that is very, as a man, whenever I can say, baby, I got this, my chest swells up with pride. It's like, baby, I got it. Don't you worry about it. But I can't ignore the climate that I'm in either. I can't ignore that there are times in which I work as a photographer. There are times in which I make a lot of money and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with all this shit. And then there's times I'm looking up like, oh, I haven't worked in the last month. It's real. So if your level of respect for me shifts because of them things, it is not because I'm not out here hustling.
Right.
It's just because of the circumstances and there are a lot of people that go through that of real everyday circumstances. There are days where you can have a great paying job. I never forgot my girl a few years, this was way back when, but she finally was like, she needed a car. She got a car note, her job. And then the moment she got a job on Saturday, that Monday, she went to work and they laid her off. Like it happens. She's no less of a woman. But
life happens. Yeah.
Did you see the story of? You probably didn't. But the girl, she was living with this man. Man was paying every bill. He felt on tough times, and she was like, "I told you from the beginning. The moment you can't afford, the moment you can't take care of me, I'm out." She boogied.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
That is terrible. But that's why I said earlier, I think that the woman should be able to step up when needed. So if you're paying all the bills and that's how we went into this, the expectation was you're paying this, you want to do this, blah, blah, blah. And something happens, whether you lose a job or you lose hours or, whatever the case is, work is slow. Right. I should be able to say, you know what, I got this month. Like, right. I'll take care of it.
I'll take it a step further. I think that if a woman wants to be taken care of and rest in her feminine energy and make sure, I think what she needs to do is put something in place. I think that the two people need to say something like, hey, listen, what we're going to do is you work, I'll stack the bread up. When the bread get to this level, we buy a home. That allows for me to go ahead and get that extra money. You go steady, go to work or whatever. And that allows for me to be able to, now we are homeowners together. I just think that in this day and age where, again, when you got people who have kids, blended households, the economy and all these other uncertain things that they just didn't have back in the day. And then also back in the day, your mother, she didn't have, she may not been as concerned with getting her feet done, her nails done, getting her wax
My
appointments.
mama always had them nails done, them
Right,
red long nails.
but how much? But in comparison to what it is now,
I mean, it was about $20.
right? But
now it's about $100.
About you could pay $120, $140 for nails.
That's crazy.
It is. So that's what I'm saying. So it's those things. It was so many additions now to where I think that and the reason why I go hard and we having this conversations in so detailed, because there are a lot of people who cannot live up to the standards of social media. There's a lot of people who are like, and they need to hear someone to say, yo, you know what, man, I'm right. Because I'm pretty sure there's somebody, both sides, that could hear our position and be like, I did. That is something to consider now.
Right.
I think it's nothing wrong, because I know being a man, I mean, I just feel good when I could, hey, baby, I got that. Don't worry about it. But I think that it's not, I think you will be a fool of a man to believe that the women, just because you do that, you are appreciated. A lot of times we see women who have men that are very much the financial got the bag and take care of them, and they walk all over them. In fact, every toxic man can come to a story where he was the toxic one and she had a good dude at home who was doing that. Every man got a story like that of how he was the dude that she might have had a good man. Because I know I have told women I'm like, you got a good dude. Like, he all right. Like, shit, why you want me?
Right.
Like, yo, he all right. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be like, you like me because I'm fun. You like me because you're exciting. Mr. Bourne right here is just stability. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't drop that bag with Mr. Bourne. Like,
that's true.
Like, yo, seriously.
That is true. That is true.
Like this guy, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. He may not be Mr. Spontaneous or whatever. I'm like, I could do this because, you know what I'm saying? But he's going to be the one I really like. And
right.
I got to shake him by the shoulders too afterwards, because I ain't that no one. I'm going to get what I'm going to get first. You know what I'm saying?
Terrible.
And then after we
and
done,
then you going to have to talk like, yeah, go on back. Go back home. Go back to your dude.
Go back to your dude.
It's crazy.
But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But no, relationships is hard anyway, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Relationships is hard anyway. I really do hope that we can, this conversation and conversations like that and platforms like this can really do kind of heal the war and division between black men and black women. With that being said, I'm gonna give you the final thoughts. Please tell people where they can find you at, what you got going on.
Yeah, so y'all can find me at Luxury Locker Room or luxurylocker.room on Instagram, or Fabulous Fee on Instagram. And that's pretty much it. Y'all will see me out with the trailer. Baseball season is coming, so you'll see the trailer throughout the city. And it's just up.
From here. Hey, congratulations to you in advance, because her idea is amazing. And I can't wait to see all the good things that come out of that.
Yeah.
I thank you so much. How was it today? How was it? You had fun?
Good. It was chill.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. She came back. This is part 2, y'all. So that means she came back. She stuck to her word too. So, but thank you so much. I thank you for your time, your effort, your energy, your perspective. Grateful to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
See you in the next episode.
Deuces.